macro. They see the change, the tone, but they couldn't handle that. No, they couldn't handle that. If they really knew the fact, they really don't to have a gift.
Hello guys, welcome to my channel where we discuss popular mainstream music, and today we're going to be discussing Beyoncé and her new country album, Cowboy Carter. Okay, she teased the album's cover art on her Instagram, so the Beehive, and a lot of people are excited. And before we get into that, just know that I'm an artist too, so if you enjoyed that little snippet of music in the beginning of this video, that is my single. Check it out. It's here on YouTube and it's streaming on all music platforms, so definitely check it out. Link in the description box. I'd really appreciate it. So, getting back into the video, Beyoncé, okay, Cowboy Carter, which again, she teased the cover album art, okay, on her Instagram, and it's very exciting because she showed the dates, which will be coming out soon, and, very political, because what's really interesting about this is the caption under the post of her cover art for the album. And what she basically explains is why she came up with this country album, and she talks about how she felt a lot of scrutiny, you know, a couple years ago back, and this leads to, you know, the Country Music Awards, where she did perform, and she got a lot of pushback, from people, because they felt like she isn't a genuine country artist. They feel like, what is Beyonce doing? She got a lot of backlash, and it made her, she explains in her caption that this made her want to dive more into the culture of, country music, where it comes from and all of that. So she's come with this new album, Cowboy Carter, so it's kind of like a deep shadow kind of work. That's what she's basically explaining. And she even says this isn't a country album, this is a Beyonce album, which is very interesting. But yeah, through that rejection came her going into country album and creating this in a more in-depth way and opening doors for other black artists, which statistically, not only is she the first black person to go #1 in country, but she's also opening doors for a lot of other black country artists, which there has been a noticed rise in black country artists in their streams. So she's kind of putting it out there, and that's why I'm saying this is very political. It gets to Beyonce, she gets political. But it's a very political statement of black artists in country and in these genres that people don't usually see us in. Which is very interesting, very powerful. And it also makes me excited to see, okay, what is Beyonce gonna do? How deep is she gonna go? Is she really gonna get into the politics of it? What are the messages? Is it just gonna be fun? Is it gonna be real country? It really makes me interested. Also, she said, again, I forgot if I didn't mention, she said this is no country album, this is a Beyonce album. So that could mean that she's putting a country taste to it, but the genre in general isn't just overall just country music. So that is interesting too, because we were thinking really like on a genre level this is going to be country, and she's saying, no, this is a Beyonce album, you're going to get your Beyonce. So I'm wondering, what does that mean? That could mean that she's putting her own twist into it. Maybe it could be like a country like hybrid of like a little R&B hip hop influence, like, we don't know, but it definitely is interesting. It makes me wonder, like, the politics of it, the political message, the statement of it, and the success of it, and how this can influence other black country artists. So, very political, very big, and also, and another thing is, what genre is this going to be? Like, how is it going to sound sonically? Like, are we going to be mixing R&B with this? So, very exciting how she explained it. In that caption, I got a lot of that. So tell me, what do you guys think? Also personally, if you ask me personally, when it comes to, country music, there's this big thing, black people, we created country music, which I can agree with. I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like as black people, we excel in the music arts really well because we get it on an intuitive level quickly. This is why we did so well with jazz. Even though we didn't get any proper training with the instruments, we kind of picked it up. We're very intuitive, we're natural like that. So I can believe that. But for me, I feel like when it comes to country music, I do associate it with white culture. Not saying that black people can't do it, absolutely not. What I mean is that so many white people sing country, and it seems like a culture thing. So maybe we as black people were singing country way back in the days, when there was just that banjo and whatever, because that's what all those southern black people were open to. So they had no choice but to do it. But to me, music and genres, they represent culture. And I feel like we naturally gravitated to more soul, to more blues, to all that type of stuff, because that is more of our vibration as a culture. So yes, maybe we originated country, but whatever we were doing, maybe it went more into like the blues and more into like R&B and soul, because that is our sound. Because at the end of the day, like what I'm saying is that I don't see black people that I've grown up with listening to country. So I don't associate it, because it's not something that we statistically listen to a lot. And to me, what I'm saying is that this could be a culture thing. Okay, when you talk about country music, it could be a culture thing. Same thing with rock music. We originated rock music. I know Chuck Berry, he was doing some great rock and roll, and so were others. I forgot their name, but Chuck Berry is a great example of it. But even when I listen to their rock and roll, I can tell that this was gearing and going into like funk and very up-tempo music. Like I can see how that went into that. Okay, because to me, we were more rhythmic. The way white people interpret rock and roll, yes, they copied, with the Elvis during that era. But as you got into the 70s and 80s, it became a completely different sound with white people. It was their own perspective of it. Those electric guitars and those screaming, yelling, and screeches and that rock and roll, that is very much their culture. That is what they created. That is their interpretation of the rock and roll. We got more into funk and soul. That's just us, that's who we are sonically. So the names of these genres to me, it's like very political, because to me, these genres explain more than that. They explain culture. That's why you see more of a race in this genre. It's a sonic sound. It represents them. So even with country, I feel like if we kept on into country, it would sound completely different, because it deals with culture. I don't think white people being all in country is a coincidence. It's still culture. Maybe they robbed the title, but the sound, that is all culture. You can't fake that, in my opinion. So, in my personal opinion, I do understand the argument of like, this is ours, but this is ours in a different way. And I think the way, Beyonce's coming into country and reestablishing it and kind of opening it into like the black person's perspective is great, because she even said it herself, this is not a country album, this is a Beyonce album. So it's still gonna have her, thing into it, her culture into it, which ours is R&B and hip hop. This is what we do, R&B and hip hop. So I can imagine the country having that taste, that kind of twist into it, because that's really our culture, which is really soul and funk. That's just kind of what we are. So, I feel like, just personally, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I feel like we don't have to like fight over, the titles and whether this is white or this is black, whatever. We're all going to have our different interpretations, but it's opening doors for people and opening our perspectives that is the most important thing, and sharing music with everyone. And I think Beyonce is definitely doing that with this. So very props to Beyonce, very politically strong. Another example of using your artistic ability and politics to execute your art in your music. I mean, yeah, genre bending. And this isn't new. A lot of artists have done this. Whitney doing pop, like a lot of black artists have done this, but Tina Turner going from soul into rock and roll. So, other artists have done this switch, but this is different because this is country, and like I said, is very a white populated genre. So Tell me what you guys think about this. What do you guys think about the album? What do you think it's gonna sound like sonically, with Beyonce saying that this is not a country album, this is a Beyonce album? What do you think it's gonna sound like? How do you feel about the politics of this album? You know, is Beyonce opening doors? How do you feel about it on a political level? I think it's a strong, powerful statement, but I want to know your guys' opinion about it. What do you guys think also about country music? Is it white? Is it black? Is it culture? Is it not? Did they steal? Did they take? Is it perspectives? Did you guys like my little take on it? Let me know in the comment section below, and I love to hear your guys' opinions. It's so interesting. I don't care if it's positive, negative, let me know, and we will talk in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching.